Hey YouTube, it's Jodas95 here, and so I'm back to this deal. Today I'm going to show to my video game collection of right here. That's what I'm showing in the box. Today I'm going to look at the Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64, it was released back in 1996 until they discontinued of 2001 or 2002, I can't remember, until the GameCube replaced it. So let's get started. One here. First one I have is Mario Kart 64. This is my first game I played. Is younger, not along with consoles. It's very nostalgic ones. It looks real old, and this one's older cartridges. This is the only game that says, I saw it on Facebook. It says the most expensive item that about $100 million. So yeah. Just play as younger. Next is Banjo-Kazooie. This game was released in 1998. It was developed by Rare just before Microsoft gets on, and yeah, the Microsoft destroyed it. So, yeah, this game came out in 1998. It's a very nostalgic. There are some platforms. It also collect puzzles. I also don't like the quit scheme at the end of the game, but I don't know why it has a quit scheme, but so yeah. Next is Bomberman 64. It's another video game. It was younger like a year ago. This game came out in 1997. That was way older than me. So it's very blast. He's a throw the bomb. He was going running around. He's throw the bombs against enemies. So that was like blast ones. Next is the Transformers, the Beast Wars Transmetals. This version, Nintendo 64, that was only available at the Blockbuster exclusives. I actually hate this game. The control's stupid. The control's terrible. You're supposed to run around, press a C button, left, right, just shoots fire missiles. Just stupid. The voice acting is pretty good. They got reprised roles from the shows, but the rest it was not. It's got weak story. The lane boss, the final boss against Megatron as a Megatron X. Let us know your thought in the comment as you remember this play. So it's that. Next is Paper Mario. One of the first Paper Mario games. Is probably the best action RPG games. This came out in 2001. Yes, this was the last Nintendo 64 game before the GameCube took over. So very ones. I'm never tired of it. I was you. Figure out this ones. Next one is Donald Duck's Going Quackers. Now this version is Nintendo 64. There was a variant of the PS1 that looks same, but there was also the Nintendo GameCube versions, I remember it. And it was developed by Ubisoft, who's the same team behind Rayman. This game came out, I guess, 2001. I can't remember what years came out. For the case. Next one is GoldenEye. This is probably, I would say, not only the best game one, it happens to be the best licensed game, and it happens to be the best video game based on movies. They also have first person shooters, so do like multiplayer ones. Next one is Mission Impossible. Yeah, this game sunk. I actually don't like this game. I remember playing it because Blooder has one, but it does not want it. It decided. Yeah, it's a crappy game because it's based on a popular film, the same name. So, that's all that. Next is Mario Party. One of the most nostalgic one in 1998. You like minigames spawn one? Mostly I remember I actually don't like it's a Tug of Wars. Remember it? Remember Tug of Wars? Yeah, it was probably controversial because the stupid analog sticks, like, you're supposed to hand it to it, but then ends up accidentally cut his hands off on the paws, like, ouch. So, in the later sequel, they never used the control sticks. So, that was the case. Next one, you might be guess no. It is Customer V2. I remember playing it as younger, as a ROM. I actually like it. This is probably the favorite one in this game. This game was only available in Japan. This is probably the best game that was never made American. I guess Customer V2 is probably the best Japanese game that never made an American. It's a pretty shame because they used to have Game Sharks. Have one, but I couldn't find the Game Sharks Nintendo 64. I couldn't find it somewhere. I guess maybe throw away. Next is Mortal Kombat 4. Another game was I remember playing just creeped me out. It was that weird voice gruesome influence. It's a fighting game for me. It was did not install at all. It's just disappointment. Do like also the ending is kind of laughable. The cutscenes compared to PS1 or Dreamcast, whatever, the full motion anime cutscene are look laughable. I mean the voice acting are cheesy voice acting, but so I guess the fatality was gruesome Wills. Next is Diddy Kong Racing. It's also another developed by Rare. It's a racing game with starring Diddy Kong with the most crossover. It also got Banjos in it. Also Conquer also in it. That's the first time. Don't have a Conquer bad for day, but we saw the store shelf or pictures, so everyone's played it. Next is NBA In Zones 98. This was developed by Konami. Yeah. It's a great company. It's a great 90s of Konami, but before the Kojima was completely destroyed. It's a great company, but Pachinko destroyed it. Now, this game is about basketball game. I haven't collected his NBA sport games, but Bloodr did, but so that's interesting with that. Okay. Next is Mario Party 3. It's a sequel from Mario Party 3, and this was the last game before they moved on to consoles. This came out in 2001. They also used new characters, newcomer of Waluigi and Daisy, who is from Super Mario Land Game Boy. As case. Next is Mega Man 64. Now this version, I have the PS1 version of the known as Mega Man Legends. So Nintendo 64, they call it Mega Man 64. So it's got the same controls, same graphics, same soundtrack, except the issues in that one. Next is Star Fox 64. Very nice, classic nostalgia. They also bring back to the Star Fox 64 3DS or 3D, whatever. It looks nice when you use the voice reprise rules. This came out in 1997. Yeah, I might be correct. It's funny they put sticker says, "Thanks for shopping, Kroger." But this is kind of funny. Next is the Bomberman Hero. This was probably the most underrated 64 games. And it's got a little scratch it, rips. So that was the case. They scratched the ones. Also, I didn't show you compared to now the Customer has the here, but the American version is here in case. Next is Rugrats in Paris, the movie. Now this is also a licensed movie game. It was developed by THQ. Now this game was based on the second film, same name. Story pretty much followed the movie. It was pretty close, except it has minor changes or three versions. So, it's a mini game, it's an adventure, but you're supposed to run around, collect tickets, or win a gold ticket, to win to get a princess. So, the story looks pretty interesting. Next is Donkey Kong 64. It's another classic game with platform, focused on Donkey Kong. Now, this is based on, do you like the cutscene, the graphics, the actual platforms? Not to mention the opening has a rapping song. It's kind of cheesy, so it's kind of. This version has the yellow cartridge. The other one has black. So next is Jet Force Gemini. It was also made by the same company, Gemini, developed by 2001. So I believe it's got a third-person shooter. the Galactic Force. So, it's pretty much, and also rated teen, it's pretty much the most violent games in years. Next is Fox Sports College Hoops 99, and it was not developed by Konami. It was made by some company called NCAA, but I'm not sure what company it is. I never play it, but might as well they sell it, get rid of it, or probably keep it. And also has an interesting license. Next is Armament Stars Hero, and it was made by 3DO. This was the first game that I can't remember. I remember I could have beat it stage because I could have passed it because the army is just annoying. It just kills me 1,000 times. This game came out in, I think it's 1998, so that was the case. Next one is Blast Corps. It's a fun little game. It's a little go around, smash and destroy the city. And it's Blast the ones. Next is Yoshi Island. This came out, I think it's 1999 or 2000, or I can't remember what games came out. So it's focused on Yoshi. It was Origins. It's a far colorful graphics, but years later in Yoshi World, they do similar premise in ones. So, everyone, what is your thought of comment below? Which is better than this one? Next is Resident Evil 2. Now, this version is Nintendo 64. Now, this was the first game Nintendo 64 gets rated M. I remember I had this one that was just scared me out. I never bought this or rented the game back I was a younger kid back in the 90s. I remember I looked storage out that was just scary. It almost gave me nightmares. So until now I played this very last ones. It's a sequel from 1996, the first game, and it was also re-released on. It was also re-released on the PS1 versions. So that's a pretty cool event. Next is South Park Nintendo 64. It was also re-released. That was from PS1. Yeah, the PS1 sucks because that was controls mess, graphics ugly, unexpired. This game is based on, was also made by Acclaim before Acclaim was bankruptcy. Yeah, the controls game was hard and the control was terrible and the weapons just complete joke. The ones froze snowball. So that's kind of a hard one. Next one is Lego Racers. It's another racing game. It was made by Lego Mania before it gets owned by Travis Tales. The graphics was okay one, but there are also no voice acting. But there was a variant. There's PS1. They use full motion cutscene opening. So it's a racing game. So, and this came out in 2001. Next one is Rayman 2: The Great Escape. It's a great platform. It's great in the Sonic Zone. I remember playing it, but my sister Sydney likes Rayman. She's a fan of it. So yeah, more characters, more graphics, better visuals. It's a great platform, but there was also re-release in PS2 version, was known as Rayman Revolution. There was also a variant. There was a PS1 version. Also, I forgot to mention, Resident Evil 2 also has many version re-release ones. Next one is Zelda, the Majora's Mask. In this version, it has gold instead of silver. Next, we have Jack 64, the Inter Geckos. Such a disappointment. So, that's part 1. So, part 2 will continue for Resident. So, stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.